Hey everyone, today we are back on the channel and we're talking about a very specific topic about the friction that may exist between a Scrum Master and an Agile Coach. Why am I talking about this? This was actually a very specific comment that has been sent to me on multiple occasions from many different people from across the world. So predominantly from my YouTube channel. And it usually goes along the lines of, hey Suhaib, I'm currently working in a company and there is a Agile coach there and it's telling me to do X, Y, and Z. I'm the Scrum Master. I've been here for 5-6 years. I've been doing a splendid job. And suddenly this guy comes in and starts telling me to do a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. Now, I know this can be very, this can be extremely tedious. It can be actually very, it can cause a lot of tension in the workplace, friction. And on top of that, you might actually start to feel resentment towards the individual. May I recommend a few things as to what's happening here? Number one is that this new person has came in, and it's not because of Agile coaching or anything like this. That this person actually wants to naturally just establish themselves as they have some sort of authority. Maybe they feel the need that there's a new place they've joined and they need to establish some sort of authority. This typically happens. I know when I've started new positions before, I feel like I need to be respected. I feel like people aren't giving me enough credibility. So it has to be earned. So this is a problem that happens time and time again. It's a natural thing, right? So don't feel like it's happening to you per se. The second thing is that this person's experiences might be totally different from the experiences you've had. Yes, albeit that you know the company culture best, you know how to deal with the current place of work, but this person might be seeing it from a different angle, which you might be accustomed to the current way of working within your place. So it's became everyday practice. For you, it is the normal. For the Scrum Master that could be sitting there, it could be absolutely normal practice. But a fresh pair of eyes is giving you a new perspective, and you might be having trouble accepting that. So the truth hurts sometimes. This is what I'm trying to say, that don't feel that your original way of working was the correct way. It might be the case that this new person has brought in a new pair of eyes and they're seeing something in a totally different perspective. They're sharing that perspective with you, and it's starting to cause a little bit of collision. So this happens from time to time again, but you got to be open-minded. So for the Scrum Masters and the Agile coaches in this scenario, you need to be open-minded, because there might be a right or wrong answer in both cases, but it's going to be hard to tell unless you actually start to, talk about it and start to think about which is the right way forward. So there's no right or wrong answer here, guys. It's just the case that you need to just keep an open mindset, an open profile, and just listen to each other and discuss. And you sometimes even run problem-solving workshops if that is the way forward. The third thing is that the Scrum Master sometimes is a wee bit defensive, because they're starting to feel that the Agile Coach is here to take their position, take their whatever that may be, right? The truth of the matter is, guys, that the Agile Coach has got other things to worry about, and you as a Scrum Master has got other things to worry about. There is no collision course in here. There can be an exchange of ideas, an exchange of how we can improve the ways of working for the team, for the company culture, engagement, interaction, all that good stuff. But you can't just say, it's this way or that way. When it comes to agility, it's all about empowerment, collaboration, blah, blah, blah. The failure to acknowledge this on a macro level and a micro level actually causes problems throughout the company. In fact, it can be misinterpreted what the actual agility enhancement perspective actually is. It can actually cause a lot of problems. So remember, the Scrum Master is there to facilitate the team. The Agile Coach is almost there to facilitate on a slightly larger scale. It depends on what the role entails, but the Agile Coach's role is typically very different. Now, I have heard stories where the Agile Coach is also acting as a Scrum Master for the team and also expected to work on a larger scale within the organization. Very, very difficult and very, very challenging. So be very careful if you're in that sort of environment. The other point is that sometimes it's a sign of hostility. It might be the case that you're working in an environment and you have just kind of came accustomed to you accept that the way things are done here are the norm. And when that new person comes in, it's like a bit of a shock. It could be the thing that it's disrupting the team. And when it comes to agile coaches, they're almost like doctors. They spot these things, and that also means for the Scrum Master as well that they spot these things and they're sharing that knowledge. That they're sharing, they're sharing that this might not be the right way. We might need to switch this up a little bit. So these problems occur. But the major thing is that you discuss this, you take this into consideration, and you help each other out. If you don't do that, then you're going to have real major problems further down the line. Okay? So this is kind of like the people aspect to it. But also, we also want to talk about here the structural point of view. Is the Agile coach on a more senior level than the Scrum Master? Does this even matter? Should it even matter to you in your case? Guys, my honest answer is that whenever I've been an Agile coach, whenever I went into a company as an Agile coach, I've always said, give me no authority. As simple as that. I don't want the authority. I don't want to be in this position whereby I make decisions, etc. I'm actually more of a very specific style of influencer within the company. And when I've did this particular role, I've always noticed that it's actually given me much more value to the company. If you go in with authority, I am the director of Agile Transformation, I'm the vice president, I'm the manager, the supervisor, the assistant Agile coach, whatever that title is, it can actually disrupt you. It can actually cause problems for you going further into the company's journey. You actually just want to be it's not on a hierarchical level. You actually just want to be more outside of the structure, that you're seeing the structure up and down as a totally separate organism, as a totally separate entity. And you're viewing it in the perspective of that you're the doctor and you're here to provide some sort of cure, some sort of help, some sort of ointment, paracetamol, whatever that may be, to help the organization get better or relieve some of its tension, some of its pains. It's not like the Scrum Master is below. It's not like the Agile Coach is above. It's not like that. It's not what we're trying to say here. All we're trying to say here is that both of these individuals have a place. One's at the team level and one's at a much more wider scope level. And that's what I say. I'm not going to even say that organizational level or enterprise level. I think it's totally the wrong word here. It's wider scope. This Agile coach has a wider scope to look at, and it could be at it has different departments, and that's the scope. Even as a Scrum Master, your scope is focused on the team. So actually it's better for you. It's actually the Scrum Master's role has many more KPIs on it. It's actually a much more a tedious role to actually do. It's a much more difficult role to do is the Scrum Master role. The Agile Coach role is actually much more easier. This is my honest perspective on it after doing this for the last 15 years. Is that the Agile Coach role is much more simpler to do. Why? Because there is no right or wrong answer, number one. And number two, the scope is wider. So the chances of success is lower, and companies are expecting that there's going to be a little bit of room for error here. There's going to be mistakes made here. There's going to be a mindset shift here as a cultural change. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here that goes on here. So you can't just say it's either or, it's up or down. It's different scopes. The scope of work varies for both individuals. Now, so that covers the structural aspect of it. And I've spoken about the roles and responsibilities when it comes for the Scrum Master and when it comes to the Agile Coach as well. But let me shift this to another perspective in terms of career development, because people ask me all the time that, hey, I want to get a higher salary, I want to get a higher, I want to get more recognition, I want to get a promotion, I want to get a better pay, whatever it is. Does that mean I need to become an Agile coach? So, not necessarily. The answer is no. I have met some very exceptionally well-paid Scrum Masters here across the world. And some of them are actually getting paid some very handsome salaries in their Scrum Master roles and titles. Why? Because they're doing an exceptional job. Guys, the Scrum Master role is very well understood if you know how to conduct it day in, day out. But the problem is most of you don't actually know how to do it. You follow the literature as per se. And when you follow the literature as per se, what's actually happening is that you are failing to bring in your twist, your turn, your character, your perspective on the topic within there. And that's where it's letting you down. And in fact, you're also failing to listen to the wisdom of other people that have been there and done it. Because as you know, it is a predominantly new role for the last 10, 20 years now. It has been actually basically a new role that's been established. So how do you get a pay rise? You got to be much more, you got to drive more value as the Scrum Master. So it's not the case that Scrum Master needs to become an Agile coach. I'm not saying that. I did not say that. I'm just saying that the scope is different. And the scope for the Agile coach also varies massively, because if you are driving value, the Agile transformation that the Agile coach is doing, if you're driving really good value for the company, then you'll get paid higher. Simple as that. But that also means that if the Scrum Master is smashing out the value from the team week in, week out, and this facilitates the team's a high performance team, well, who's having more impact here? The team is obviously having more impact, while the Agile coach is struggling to make the entire transformation be successful. So it's not all, you have to become an Agile coach. No, you can get paid very handsomely as a Scrum Master. That's the truth of it. But on the industry level, we typically see that Agile coaches have a little bit higher of a salary there. Okay, it's just, it might be, it's perceived because the scope is wider and it's on an organization scale that it gets a much more higher salary. But the chances of success is much more less as well. The chances of success as a Scrum Master is much more higher because it's a focused role. While the chances of success as an Agile coach is much more smaller. So please take this into consideration when you are looking at a promotion in this. And the last thing is, do I need to jump to another company to get a higher promotion? Guys, unfortunately, sometimes that might be the case. I've had to do that. Many times in my career, I've worked in a company whereby I didn't get a promotion after 1 year. I'm like, okay, tough. I need to move on. Unfortunately, that might be the case. Sadly, it does happen. And sometimes it does help you get a higher pay rise. So look around, check it out. And also sometimes, guys, you might not even want to be a Scrum Master or Agile coach somewhere. You might need to become a product manager. That happens. Happened to me. So take a look at it and always think about how you are best suited. So despite everything I've said, always be thinking about your passions in terms of where you want to go in your career and how you want to take it to the next level, because that's continuous improvement. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Give me a like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And if you need any help for coaching, you can see my contact details throughout this video. And I look forward to hearing from you from WhatsApp, LinkedIn, or through a comment on this video. Thanks for watching.